Welcome to the Weather Gurus podcast for April the 4th, 2024 here on this Thursday edition. Today we see a warm surge of temperatures continuing to impact the central U.S. It's anywhere from Dallas, Fort Worth to Oklahoma City to Wichita, Kansas, up through Nebraska and the Dakotas. A nice warm surge of spring warmth. Temperatures range anywhere from the upper 50s in the Dakotas down to the middle 80s into Texas, big Texas country. And this surge continues along the Gulf Coast as well as they're drying out and much lower humidity east of the Mississippi River. So places like Birmingham, Tallahassee, Macon, Jacksonville, down through Tampa and the Keys, experiencing lower humidity as well. So a nice treat, even though temperatures in the upper 70s and 80s along the Gulf Coast. Out west in the American Southwest Desert, excellent weather as well. Phoenix, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And out west, there is some issues now. California is experiencing some high mountain snow in the Tejon Pass. So if you're coming on the Grapevine up I-5 heading to 99, there is going to be some high elevation snow that could amount to 2 to 4 inches, and some elevation snows, again, the Big Bear Lake, getting more than that, in some areas in the Sierra picking up additional snowfall as well. But otherwise, in the center of the country, it is clear and quiet. Upper Midwest, there are some snow showers lingering on the UP of Michigan from Marquette to Houghton to Iron Mountain, down through Michigan as well. And those will be clearing out as the day progresses here on Thursday into Friday morning. Now, in the Northeast, it looks good. Temperatures are about average, 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Those overnight lows continue to dip in the Appalachians there. So there's snow shower chances again in the highest of elevations along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. So if you're coming along 441 there in the mountains there, Great Smokies there, be very cautious going up toward Boone and Mount Airy and places north of Asheville in the higher terrain, in the much higher terrain, and also in the higher terrain of West Virginia too. Snow showers will continue south and north of Elkins, West Virginia, and the highest of elevation. So Spruce Knob looks to pick up, and the resorts around there look to pick up an additional 6 inches of snowfall through Friday afternoon. Now, and of course, snow will continue, of course, in the highest of elevations of the White Mountains of Vermont, in the Green Mountains of New Hampshire, and also in the highest of elevations in Maine along the Canadian border. Snow will continue in the Adirondacks as well, from Lake George north up 87 through Queensbury and the Canadian border. That's also the case, but otherwise it's pretty clear, not much going on. A few showers here and there, but listen, we're doing pretty well considering. So you look at the radar, there it is on the radar, courtesy of the National Weather Service. You can see here, no severe weather, just general garden variety showers here, and snow showers continuing in the Intermountain West and in the extreme northeast New England. Now you can see the hazards here. All of that's reflected here in the national in the current hazards that we have. In the blue, that's a freeze watch that's extending. So if you're in the Ohio Valley, say from coming down 75 from Lexington to Lexington to Frankfort, Kentucky, over to London, Kentucky, and then also extending up to I-65 and I-69 in Indianapolis, Muncie, Indiana area, as well as going down toward the Seymour, Indiana, and areas along the Sellersville, areas along the Ohio River basin there, okay? And also this extends into Ohio, so Dayton, Cincinnati, Piqua, Troy, Ohio, those areas under freeze watch. Now, up north, we have those pink winter storm warnings, obviously in the higher terrain, so the Tug Hill Plateau of New York, north of Watertown, up through Burlington, Montpelier, through New Hampshire, through Maine, Bar Harbor, Maine, Millinocket, Maine. All these areas are under winter storm warnings and advisories, as to be expected in April, as they have the latest snowfalls usually the middle of April, April 17. Red flag warnings continue in Alabama. It's dry air down there in the Gulf Coast now after the frontal boundary is cleared yesterday, so it's dry air, clear skies. Conditions are ripe for fire danger. So if you're in Mobile, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Fort Payne, all of these areas, Talladega, all these areas, Valley, Alabama, along I-85, I-20, I-65, be very careful. And into the Florida Panhandle, Pensacola, Destin, Pensacola Beach, Destin, Florida, Fort Walton Beach, and those areas, and into Mississippi if you're in the lower Gulf Coast, Biloxi on I-10, Hattiesburg, and those areas heading toward the Louisiana border. Be very careful about burning anything, as a red flag warning is in effect there. So we have these areas here of concern. Most of the areas out west have to do with snowfall, but this snowfall is just general snow. It's not like a blizzard condition that they had last month in the High Sierra. So, but they are posted here in purple winter weather advisories here. So change may be required if you're going over Donner Pass, Bridgeport, all those areas that typically require Winnemucca, Nevada, places like that in high deserts. of Nevada as well. Wind will be a problem in these canyons of Arizona, some of the Green Verde, Vasa Verde canyons here of Arizona and New Mexico, Prescott Canyon. Be very careful. They're traveling over Payson, Arizona, and places like that. High wind warnings in the orange and this brown color is in effect for that area too as well. And red flag warnings do extend out into the eastern high plains. So eastern Colorado, heading on 70 east, heading toward the Kansas border. Be very careful. Heading eastern New Mexico, out toward, east of I-25 and the Raton Pass Divide. Be very careful. And also in the panhandle of Texas, of course. There's been an area that have seen fires recently in the past, so be very careful out there. So now, looking at the forecast models, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits, this is the GFS model. You can see we have the typical garden variety spring showers in the Ohio Valley, and then the snow showers in the northeast. And then what sticks out to your eye is the west, the typical intermountain west snow and rain combination in the valleys. That will continue to push out of the way, and we still get that intermountain snow there in the west, as you can see in the next days here coming up on Sunday. But this low pressure system will track across the country, providing more rain. And then closer to the eclipse time frame, there's going to be heavy cloud cover, unfortunately, in the Texas area. So if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston, or College Station, or Waco, or Austin, trying to view the total eclipse on Monday, there may be some clouds, heavy cloud cover into Arkansas in the Architect region and up through some of this path of totality. It may be covered by clouds. So the best chance of viewing may be in places like Indianapolis or in Cleveland, possibly by the lakes, or even in Pittsburgh, I would say. But there will be showers here. I'm going to just rewind and show you this here on Monday. You can see this showers here, this disturbance and this warm air. But the temperature should be nice as this warm air surges up from the southeast and southwest. It's just that there's going to be clouds and lingering showers for the southeast. So if you plan on watching the eclipse in the south, in Texas, or in this path of totality on the southern end of the path of totality, you may see more clouds, unfortunately, in this middle path. But if you come up toward maybe, say, Buffalo, Cleveland, Indianapolis, you may have a better chance of experiencing it with less cloud cover. So we get past the eclipse day, and then we go into Tuesday. More showers in the Gulf Coast and the Mid-Atlantic, and then you see the showers advance there. Strong storms come in with this low pressure here on Thursday next week. Maybe some severe weather again for the same places that saw it last week. So Huntsville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Jackson, Mississippi, areas down toward Hattiesburg and New Orleans. Be very careful on next Thursday here. And the system clears out the way. Notice snowfall is lingering north of the border, the Canadian border there. So we don't get any snow coming up in the next middle of April here. It looks like here, as I progress it through the middle of April here, the GFS model, you can see we have one shot of snow here in Maine and the upper New Hampshire here, Mount Washington. That's on the 17th, April 17th, it looks like, middle of the month. And some lingering snows out west in Montana. But other than that, we don't see any really big snow, winter snow here. It looks like the final push of snow will come through toward the middle to end of April, and then it just got straight rain here coming through Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Louis, and all of that as we head toward the middle to the end of the month, according to the latest GFS run here. So that's good news. So we're heading into springtime. Be very careful. Be very severe weather alert. Now is a great time to get your batteries, your LED lanterns. Make sure you topped off on your water and stuff in your basement and all of that. As we head closer and closer to the beginning of hurricane season, we're going to be talking about hurricane season very shortly here. Colorado State just put out its forecast today. University for the amount of hurricanes. Everyone agrees, whether it's NOAA, whether it's a private forecaster, whether it's wherever, there's going to be a more active season this year. But nobody knows. Nobody can predict exactly where these things are going to hit. So just stay tuned. We're going to tell you more in detail, in depth on that later. So this has been your update for today. Thank you very much for listening. I'll talk to you very soon later on.